What's up, guys? It's your girl LA The Life, and it's about time that I share with you guys why I got into the trucking industry. Okay, so I have been wanting to be a truck driver for about 9 to 10 years. At the time, I could not do it because I had a lot of life-changing situations, and I'm going to tell you what it was. So 2010, I lost my husband. I was a widow mother of 2 children. 5 months after my husband passed away, my youngest sister was murdered by her abuser. She was in a domestic violence relationship, and the father of her child took her life in front of her 2 small kids. The next day, I got them. They were, the kids were 2, the baby was 2 months old, baby girl, and her son was 3, and he seen his father take his mother's life. So, look, I didn't know how I was going to take care of these kids. All I knew was I was on a prayer in the wing. And I knew God had us. About 5 months after I got them, I was reunited with my maternal second oldest sister. When she was 9 years old, my mom lost rights of her and she was adopted. And I didn't see my sister for 21 years when she got adopted. So we had reunited, we met with each other, and she was asking about our eldest sister. So I just told her, like, I really didn't know. The family had been trying to look for her, but when they were putting out missing person reports, they kept coming back. She didn't want to have contact. A few months after we reunited, and it might have been 5 months after. Dang, what was up with that 5? Anyway, we'll think about that later. 5 months after that, I got contacted by Child Services, letting me know that my eldest sister daughter was in need of services, and they wanted to know if I was interested because they already seen that I had my other 2 sister kids. And I told them, yeah, you know, I had never met my niece. I didn't know anything about her. I had to wait a few days until I was able to go to the social worker's office. Please turn it off. This is for YouTube. I had to wait a few days to go meet with the social worker. When I went, I knew it was something serious because the social worker had her supervisor with her, and I'm just like, this is weird. So they took me down this long hall, sat me down, told me what was going on with my niece. It was some people that had her that did not supposed to have her legally, and they were trying to move on the case fast because they felt like that family was going to run with my niece. I said, yeah. I'm like, is there anything I should know about her? They were like, physically, she's not mentally delayed. But mentally, there might be some because she has never been to school. And I was just like, what? It was like, yeah, she's never been to school, never been anywhere. The most places she's been was like to Walmart. And I'm just like, yeah, let me get my niece. So I got her. And then also when I got her, I was pregnant with my 3rd biological child. So I was this widow mom with 6 kids. So I couldn't be a truck driver then, okay? It was a long, drawn out journey, a lot of prayer. My dad is from Chicago. He did come from Chicago when I first got the kids to help me. But after I just kept losing so many loved ones, I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to go. So I had a cousin that was living in Georgia, and she had came and seen me. She's like, cuz, you need to move here. You know, I think Georgia would be a lot better for you. Then me and my husband can help you, you know, once you come. And I'm so independent. I'm like, help me. I'm like, don't nobody want to move to Atlanta? You know, I had a bad reputation. Nobody want to move to Atlanta. And so she just kept talking. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and go check it out. And I checked it out and I fell in love. I was ready to go. Whoop, let's find a house. So I found the house. It didn't take me long. But when I found my house and got the house, I could not move in immediately because I had to get my nieces and nephew adopted. So they were to award estate. So I had to wait till the adoption was finalized. And when it was finalized, my cousin was gone. She had moved to Detroit because her husband was from there. He had some family things going on. Her belated husband, he was from there. It's another story too. And they moved there to take care of his family situation. So I didn't even get to see her when I was living in Georgia. But Georgia was a good move for us. It changed a lot of things for us, and things was going good. I lost weight. My daughter lost weight. We was getting on about our fitness and, you know, just networking. In college, I was out here just taking care of these kids. And I still had in my mind, I wanted to be a truck driver. And what really made me want to do it is because even though I had moved to Georgia, I was still going back home to see family. And I was driving a long route. Like my hometown is 8.5 hours away from Georgia. And I was on the road frequently. And my family like, girl, all that driving you doing, you should be a truck driver. And I was like, I thought about it, but don't nobody want to be no truck driver right now. And I'm like, hell, with these kids. Because I didn't have a real strong support system then. And so later, eventually, I did lose my sister's son. He had a lot of behaviors, and it was more so because he was a traumatized child. He seen his father murder his mother, which was my sister. And, I tried everything. He was in therapy. He had psychologists, medication, and he had an accidental death, very young. So that was another life-changing event. My dad from Chicago was like, look, why don't you just move here so I can help you with them kids, you got a support system here. And so I was like, well, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I moved there, and it was good. My dad did help how I was working. He was keeping my youngest daughter because she was the only kid that was not old enough to go to school then. And so he was like, don't pay for no daycare. He was like, send my grandbaby over here. I'll teach her what she need to know. And so my dad did help me with that. Thank you, Dad. I love you so much. She's still attached to him to this day. She would love her papa. So I moved back to Georgia. I was missing Georgia. Now, when I moved to Illinois, I was living in the suburbs, and I moved into a racist area, and each one of my kids experienced it. So it was time for us to go. First, when I was in Georgia, I'm like, it's too black in Georgia. Baby, I love it, okay? I was appreciative. God got a way of making you humble and appreciating things. And so we moved back, and I'm like, I'm not moving away once I move back. I ain't never come back to Illinois. I think I would have been better off if I actually lived in, like, Chicago, like the hood, west side, like, or even the south side. Like, I think I would have been good, because we was actually, when we would have fun, we was going to the hood. It was no fun in the suburb that we lived in. So anyway, I came back and I still was thinking about it. I have a friend, she's a big social media influencer, and she would just like always talk about it. And I'm like, dang, this young girl doing it. I think it's about time that I think I could do it. I think it's about time, because most of these kids is of age. So the year my daughter was graduating from high school, I'm like, okay, this is the time, because my daughter about to go to college. The kids are of age. And then I have a friend that is very supportive. So anytime that I'm gone, she will look out for the kids, make sure they got food, if they need to get to school. Very supportive. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's my time. I done been all these years with these kids, not really doing what I want to do. And so it worked out. And that journey was a headache. So I did go to 2 truck driving schools. The first one was a dud, okay? Very unprofessional. They did not care about their students. It was a 3-week course. The first week you actually do online because of we was just coming out of COVID. You do online, and basically that first week is getting you prepared to take the test to get your permit so that you can actually start class and start operating the tractor trailer. And so it's a lot of general knowledge that you have to know in order for you to get that permit. You have to know the ins and outs. You have to know every part on that tractor and trailer, from the engine, every part identified, know what it looks like, touch it, feel it. You have to know the outside of the tractor. You got to know the inside of the cab. You got to know how to do air brakes, coupling. You got to know everything about that trailer from the top to the bottom underneath. The tires, the brake chamber, everything. Okay, so you gotta know. It's a lot. They might as well give us a mechanic license as well, because it's a lot that we had to obtain in those few weeks. So the first week is general knowledge. The 2 weeks is actual training. So a lot of people get this confused. When you go to truck driving school, it's not to go to learn how to be a truck driver. You're going to get your license. That's what it's for. You don't actually learn how to be a truck driver until you get out on the road with a trainer, with an experienced driver that can teach you how to be a truck driver. And then a lot of companies, they do offer truck driving school, and you can have the option of actually working for them. If you work for them for a year with some companies, they will waive your tuition and you don't have to pay it back. But if you decide that you want to get your license and go somewhere else, you will have to pay that money back to them. So the first one, it was a dud. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and tell y'all that I passed the test to get my permit with a bridge. The first time I did not. It took many trial and error. And I just kept saying, dang, why am I not getting this? Because it's like when you actually go take the test, it's different from what you're reading and you're studying. And so I'm like, I know I can't be the only one. that's going through this. So let me look on YouTube. YouTube is very resourceful. Thank you, YouTube. It was a guy on there talking about how he was going through what I went through. And somebody had told him about the CDL Prep app. And so when he said that, I immediately downloaded and got on there. And let me tell you, he was not lying. So you put in the state that you are at. When you do that, it gives you the test according to your state. So some states have 3 questions and other states have 4 questions. And I believe Georgia was 3. And so when I studied, the next day I went and took the test. I passed. I finally got my permit. And then I was able to start training. So with the first place I went with, they do not pay you. They do not feed you. They have you out in the cold. They don't care about the weather. They really didn't care about their students like that, to be honest, okay? They did put people in hotels. I didn't have to stay in a hotel because it was in Waco, Georgia, which that was 30 minutes from where I live. So I was very happy about being able to drive there and drive back home. I did get improperly trained the first 2 weeks of being there. And how do I know? Because the day of my actual test, they fired my trainer and said that he wasn't having success with his students. Out of 30 days, he only had 1 student that passed out of the 30 days. And so we happened to get him. And so it was basically like, I feel like they should have gave us an additional 2 weeks to be more prepared to take the exam. Because like I said, none of the day of testing, none of us passed. It was 3 in my group. 2 of them went before me. They did not pass. I didn't pass. They gave us a couple, like 2 days to make up. And you only get 3 chances with them. So they didn't even give us a makeup chance. They was like, you know, this, okay, so what? We had an instructor that didn't teach you well. You got to pass. Like, so unfair. And then the tuition was like almost $8,000. So it was just a nightmare. So I did not pass, not 1 or twice. I actually experienced sexism from the examiner that was at that training school. He told me, he said, maybe you're not getting the parts because you're a woman. And I walked away feeling so devastated. I went and reported what he told me. Nothing was done. He was the only examiner for Waco, Georgia. And honestly, I think he feels like because he's the only examiner there and he's been there for years, nothing would happen, which he didn't. It was other people that were complaining about him. He basically passes you off of how he feels that day. If he's feeling good, you might pass. And it's also a color thing too. And I would say more so the guys were experiencing that. So anyway, I didn't pass. I was devastated. I tried writing corporate. I wrote DMV about him. Nothing happened, and yet they still wanted me to pay the $8,000 for something I didn't get trained properly, and I didn't receive a CDL license for them. So I was devastated, and I was telling my brother about it, and he actually went to, he had just got his CDL license, and he was telling me, like, sis, go where I went. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to check it out. He was like, I think they got 3 locations. So they had 3 locations. It was one in Hammond, Indiana. My brother from Chicago, so it was like 30 minutes away. So I wouldn't have mind going there because I have a lot of family in Illinois. But I don't like the winter, so I was not trying to deal with snow. And then they have one in Texas as well as Mississippi. I went with Mississippi because it was closer to Georgia. I could be able to get home if I needed to. So I went, and that experience was amazing. Very professional. They had us at a college, Hines College. The first company I went with, I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there. It was Swift. Stay the heck away from that company. They are robbing you for your money, and they're not training you the proper way. So anyway, the second company I went to, they made sure that they gave us room and board, which was a hotel. The hotel does come with a refrigerator and a microwave. So if you wanted to buy food, you could buy it and put it in there. Also, they feed you. Now, the hotel that you're in, if they have breakfast, you get to eat the breakfast. But then when it's lunchtime, they actually have a catering company come out to the school and feed you a warm meal. Now, it was a hit and miss. You know, some days it was cool, some days it wasn't. It was in Mississippi, so the chicken was hitting. That fried chicken was hitting. I don't eat pork, so they had like pork chops some days, and some people were saying the pork chops was good. I didn't eat that. But they feed you, they pay you the second week, they give you a check on a card. You actually get the money on the card so you can transfer it into your account or use the card. And then you have the option of staying with them and becoming a company driver, because it is a mega company that actually has the training. And they pay you the day of orientation, and you have to wait 4 weeks. I mean, not 4 weeks, I'm sorry. You have to wait until you get a trainer, because most of the trainers are already out with other students that were before you. So while you're waiting, they would pay you $800 a week. I waited about 3 to 4 weeks, and then I was able to get my trainer. They actually trained people how to get their CDL license, experienced trainers. The highest was like 27 years. The lowest year was like one guy that had like 6 years, and he was the only guy that had that low amount of years. And then they have plenty trainers. They have about 7 to 10 or more. And then whoever you did not work with when you were training is the person that actually gives your exam. So you don't have to worry about a sexist or racist examiner coming to test you. You're going to be working with a trained CDL driver. And also, everybody that did not pass from Swift, I told them about it. They all came over to the same company I was at, and everybody passed. So all of us got our CDL license. You only get 2 tries with them. The first try I did mess up. The second try, I was on a prayer in the wind, because I'm like, Lord, I didn't come out here to fail. Lord, please bless me to pass. I gotta pass. I gotta go back home and tell my kids I got this license. And so with the grace of God, I did. It was a struggle. You get 3 maneuvers. The first one is straight back line. The other one, you could do alley dock. I didn't do alley dock. I did, what is it called? I can't think of what it's called. I can't think of it. And then I had driver's side. The site side, driver's side. So it's like parallel parking and a tractor trailer. I couldn't get it straight for nothing in life, but Lord got me there. The good thing about them, they said, keep pulling it up as much as you can. But when you say you're ready to go, that's it. If you don't get it in there, you're done. I said, no, not today, Lord. Please, God, come and put this truck in this box. And so he did it. And I did kind of move it up a little bit. And so the supervisor came out. They watching like, what? They said, Miss Abram, what was you doing? What was the problem? You was doing it fine when you was out here training. I said, I don't know. I said, well, the good thing is I got my CDL license. Yes, you do. Here you go. Take it across the street so you can go store orientation. So I got it, y'all. I was thankful. That journey was something. It can be very intimidating because it's a short amount of time that you have to know all of this information. But I'm just here to tell y'all, you definitely can do it. Don't be intimidated or afraid. Get out there, get the training. Make sure you're studying, and get them licensed. All right, truckers, I'm out until next time. It's been real with your girl, LA The Life. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. I'm out.